I mean, the question for a painter dealing with Hartley is, how was he able to make paintings with so much overt emotionality using fairly mundane and fairly, not in no way kind of unique subjects. I mean, trees, river, a coastline, vase of flowers. So these are in a way generic subjects. He was a genre painter, in a way. But if you hold one of his paintings of flowers next to 100 other painters who painted flowers, his are very distinct and very distinctly different. I mean, it's pretty hard to miss that Hartley's huge heart and his deep, deep sense of longing, which is not in any way contradictory with the Yankee hard, kind of hard scrabble way of life, which was the norm in the time Hartley grew up. And we can't forget that being a painter in that time was pretty unrewarding career path, put it mildly. Life was hard. Life was hard for most people, not just for painters. Life was hard, much different than today. It is partly the style of the teens and 20s, the call toward abstraction, which was pretty much everywhere, and impossible to ignore at that time. I think it gave that will toward abstracting, simplifying, solidifying form, gave Hartley permission to do something which he might have wanted to do anyway, which was to try to find the elemental in the subject. I think Hartley he had different phases, obviously, in different periods in his work, in which he identified with various movements in 20th century art. But the Hartley that I think of when I think of him is a painter of nature. He's not necessarily a plein air, observational painter, but a painter of a kind of constructed nature that is very much tied to the spirit of New England, even when he's painting the West or some of the landscape. It's a Yankee sensibility. I think Hartley's figurative paintings they're the most symbolic of all of his body of work. The body, especially the male body, is idealized. They could be paintings from in a way, they could be bodies from Greece, from the golden age of it could be right alongside Praxiteles. They're highly idealized, highly unanatomically concerned, and fetishized. I don't think it's too strong a word. There's a heroic quality to the build-up of these male bodies, these big-chested men, and the fact that oftentimes their eyes are missing is purely mythic at that point. Maybe, I mean, this is, who knows what people will think, and I certainly don't want to speak for anyone else, but maybe Hartley's work now will help reclaim some idea of humanism, which has been so thoroughly discredited as the source of all evil. It's a little more complicated than that, and this Hartley is definitely part of the, broadly speaking, humanist project of the 20th century. I mean, parenthetically, I mean, one of the kind of truisms about art that Hartley illustrates so beautifully is that part of being an artist is turning your liabilities into assets. So all the things that were the bedevilled Hartley, his identity, his very identity as a painter. Who am I? What am I? That's what makes his work so interesting, that he confronted those questions head on.